Coming to you live from Jackie Robinson Ballpark in downtown Daytona Beach. We are here for another broadcast of Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. The Wildcats taking last night's contest over Alabama A&M. Final score of 8-7 via the walk-off balk in the bottom of the ninth inning. Looking for a series win in Game 2 today. Hello and a very warm welcome to everybody joining us via YouTube on the CatEye Network. Appreciate everybody joining us here this afternoon. Another windy afternoon here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. I am, of course, Bryce Wojnowski. I am riding solo tonight. Mike is dealing with a little bit of a sickness. We'll hope to see him back by the end of this series. And so it will be a solo show tonight as I take you through another evening of Bethune-Cookman Baseball. For the Wildcats tonight, it will be Marcos Gamboa on the mound, as he has been many a Saturday so far to start this season. Sporting that 4.22 ERA, a 1-1 record over 5 appearances, all starts this year. In 21 innings pitched, he has allowed 23 hits, 10 earned runs, 14 runs total. He has struck out 14 and walked 8. Alabama A&M coming into today at just 3-21 on the season, just one SWAC win so far. That was over Alabama State last weekend. They'll look to try to finally get some momentum going in conference play for the Wildcats. They are 13-11 and 5-1 thus far on the year, as Marcos Gamboa fires in a first pitch strike to Alex Diaz, who will lead things off as he did an evening ago for the Bulldogs. Second pitch is fouled back. He's quickly down 0-2. Diaz, the junior right fielder, hitting .280 this season in 23 games. 21 hits, 6 RBI, 3 doubles, a triple. He fouls another one straight back in front of me and the count will remain at 0-2. For the Bulldogs lineup, it looks like this. Diaz leads off. Dre Amaral will hit second. Tristan Curlis, the first baseman, third. In the cleanup spot, it'll be Jared Tribbett once again. As Gamboa misses the zone for the first time tonight, it's 1-2. Jesus Riera will bat fifth and play third. Bryson Hammonds in the sixth spot. In the seventh, it's Blake Martin. He'll DH tonight. Kylan Duncan will hit eighth again, as this one is sent right back up the middle, out, fly ball into center field. It will be corralled and caught by Daniel Figueroa for the first out of the contest. Then, of course, wrapping up the lineup, getting his first start of the series, Chevalier Doris, the center fielder, will hit ninth for the Bulldogs. That will, of course, bring up Dre Amaral, the junior shortstop, hitting .286 in 23 games, all of them starts. First pitch to him is a fastball in there for strike one. Amaral, 20 hits on the season, 3 of them doubles, 1 homer, 14 RBI. That's tied for the team lead with the guy batting right behind him. Take that one inside for a ball. 1-1, just a little bit high, says the home plate official. The count will go to 2-1 now. For the Wildcats, defensively from left to right, beginning the outfield, Chun in left, Figueroa in center, Sergio Rivera in right. As that one is fouled off, it will be 2-2, excuse me. In the infield, Peter Vasquez, Ramses Cordova, Colton Olson, Manny Sufrain over at first. As the defensive lineup looks much like it did last night. Tonight, behind the plate, it will be Jorge Rodriguez. Saw Irvin Escobar there last night, but it will be Rodriguez tonight catching for Gamboa. The 2-2 is popped up, but will drift back foul behind the press box. Again, for those just tuning in, maybe for your first game this season, we are not in our normal broadcasting spot that you might have seen us at in seasons past. We are not in the press box. We are down below. I say we, it's just me tonight. I'm down below, right behind the netting of home plate. As this ball is flared into foul territory down the right field line, it will bounce just past the visiting bullpen. So we have made do for much of the season. That's why you see the audio-only stream to start the season going radio style for you, just trying to make sure we bring you Bethune-Cookman Baseball in whatever form we can. Wi-Fi makes it a little difficult to get a full-fledged stream going out here, but while renovations continue to wrap up with Tortuga's opening day just around the corner, hopefully we will be able to put a full production on the air sooner rather than later. The 2-2 to Amaral is swung on and missed. Thought maybe we had a foul tip there, but no, sir. He will go down on strikes for the second out of the inning. That will bring up Tristan Curlis, the first baseman. Curlis on the season, 21 games played, all of them starts, hitting a team-leading .316, 14 RBIs, also tied for the team lead. He takes the first pitch he sees outside for a ball. Curlis out of Amarillo, Texas. He'll take this one in a similar spot. It's quickly 2-0. It's the top of this Bulldogs lineup that's provided much of the pop for them early on in the season as Curlis swings through a fastball for the first strike of the AB. 280, 286, 316, and then a pretty big hole there as another big swing and a miss puts him even 2-2. After that, the averages on this team, 205, 224, 235, 250, 68, and 162. So the top of this lineup is where the most of the damage is going to come from for Alabama A&M. This one is flared foul over the left field bleachers. Count will remain 2-2. Gamboa working maybe just a step slower than many of the Wildcat arms on this pitching staff. This one is high. The count will run full 3-2. We're used to seeing guys work with a lot of pace. Gamboa has been a little bit slower so far to start. The full count is low. Ball 4. First base runner of the afternoon for Alabama A&M is Tristan Curlis. He will take a walk to prolong the inning and bring us to the catcher, Jared Tribbett. Tribbett, the senior, hitting .205 on the season in 23 games played, all of them starts. 16 hits, 10 runs scored, 10 RBIs, 7 doubles. That is tied for the team lead with Tristan Curlis. Long look in for Gamboa before the first pitch. He delivers. It's a breaking ball that breaks a little too far outside the zone. 1-0. This one is a fastball low, but fouled off. 1-1 now. Tribbett out of Lumberton, Mississippi. Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Batting in that cleanup spot. That fastball is taken the other way out of the left center field. That will drop in there. Probably be extra bases. Here comes Curlis rounding third. He will head home. Throw comes in. Hits the cutoff man at shortstop and will get no further as the Alabama A&M Bulldogs for the second straight night will strike first. It's 1-0. Nice piece of hitting there from Tribbett. Fastball stayed middle, taken the other way in a hurry. This is another night similar to last night with the wind blowing straight in off the water and pretty constant, not super gusty, wind blowing 13 miles an hour right out of the north. So balls in the air are going to continue to be a challenge as the first pitch now to Jesus Riera is called a strike. Riera, the third baseman, junior hitting .224. 18 starts, making his 18th tonight. The 0-1. Nice breaking ball on the outside edge, called a strike, 0-2. 6 RBI for Riera on the year, 13 hits, couple of home runs. He's one of 2 with multi-home runs on the season for the Bulldogs. The 0-2 is high. Missed the spot just a little bit. Ball drifted just too far inside, didn't induce the swing, and Riera will stay alive at 1-2. Wildcats trying to avoid any further damage, already trailing 1-0 with a runner on second base and 2 outs. This one is hit, another one out into left center field. That's going to drop in front of Chun. He'll make the throw home. Runner rounds. Ball sails to the backstop. And it will be 2-0 Alabama A&M as Jared Tribbett comes around to score from second. That'll be a double for Jesus Riera. Back-to-back extra base hits for the Bulldogs. That one maybe wasn't quite as pretty as the one prior to it. A little blooper that gets out in the middle of nowhere for Bethune-Cookman. Nobody's able to quite track that down. Might have been helped a little bit by the wind, making sure it didn't get out to the glove of Garrett Chun in left. But regardless, that'll bring up Bryson Hammond sitting out of the 6th spot tonight with already 2 runs in and a runner still on second base. First pitch to him is chopped over to third base. Peter Vasquez will grab it, throw over to first, and the side is retired. 2 quick runs, much like last night for Alabama A&M. They lead this contest 2-0, but not before the Bethune-Cookman Bats will get to work. We will take a quick break before they do. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. On about the first here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark in Game 2 of the 3-game series between Bethune-Cookman and Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M already in front 2-0 in this one, taking advantage of back-to-back 2-out doubles to push a pair of runs across. Very similar to how they did so last night. But of course, we know how that one ended with the Wildcats taking that one 8-7. It'll be Ryan Jones on the mound tonight for an Alabama A&M pitching staff that continues to kind of bend but don't break, much as they did last night. Their pitching staff as a whole, numbers are pretty grisly to say the least. Jones thus far on the year, 6.85 ERA and 8 appearances, 3 of them starts. He is 2-1 on the year. In 23 and 2/3 inning pitch, he's allowed 30 hits, 19 runs, 18 of them earned. He's walked 7 to 17 strikeouts, allowing an opponent batting average of an even 300. So not a guy who walks a ton of batters, fortunately enough for Alabama A&M, but he has struggled, again, allowing those 30 hits in just 23 and 2/3 innings of work. The lefty throws a first pitch strike to Sergio Rivera, who will lead things off for Bethune-Cookman once again. Second pitch to Rivera is a breaking ball. That's in there, quickly down 0-2 here for the Wildcats tonight. Sergio Rivera leads things off. Garrett Chun will hit second. Jose Gonzalez third. Manny Sufrain fourth, much like that crew did last night. Ramses Cordova will hit fifth. Jorge Rodriguez will hit sixth. Peter Vasquez seventh. Colton Olson eighth. And Daniel Figueroa will hit out of the ninth spot. Once again for Bethune-Cookman, this fastball is taken the other way out into right center field. This one will drop in there in front of the glove of Doris, the center fielder. And Sergio Rivera is the first base runner of the night for the Wildcats, courtesy of a single. Nice piece of hitting there from Rivera for the Bulldogs as we welcome Garrett Chun to the plate. Their defense looks like this in the outfield. Hammonds, Doris, Diaz from left to right. Riera, Emerald, Duncan, Curlis in the infield from third to first. Tribbett will do the catching tonight for Jones. That first pitch to Chun is ruled high, says the home plate official. That is Darryl Cooper behind the plate tonight. And the 1-0 to Chun as Rivera goes for second. He will slide in there and make it easily. There will be no tag. We saw the Wildcats base running last night pull a lot of the load. Of course, scored a run via the double steal that they've employed so many times so far early in this season. And then, of course, the nice heads-up play to force the balk to win the game in the bottom of the ninth inning as Chun will take this one outside for a ball. Base running overall has just been such a weapon for the Wildcats this year. Not near the top of the conference in steals, although they maybe are in the top half. But it's been the smart heads-up base running that has done numbers for this team early on in the season. The 2-1 to Chun. Breaking ball is in there for a strike. It's 2-2. Even Manny Sufrain last night, maybe more stunningly than anything else, took off for his first steal in over a year of play. Swiped third of all things. Caught Alabama A&M sleeping a little bit, which helped start a rally to tie things up. Chun takes this ball in the dirt. Rivera will trot on down to third. I'm sure they'll call that a wild pitch, as Tribbett is just able to keep in front of him and avoid any further damage. There are quickly runners at the corners now, with Chun taking the free pass. Nobody out. That will bring up Jose Gonzalez. Gonzalez has been arguably the hottest hitter on the Wildcats squad thus far this year. The DH is hitting .348 in 23 games, all of them starts, 31 hits, 15 runs scored, 16 RBIs. He takes first pitch low for a ball, and Garrett Chun will take off for second on another ball in the dirt. That will be a wild pitch. One of those ones you don't maybe immediately call a wild pitch, just because we'll see what Brian Harvey, our official scorer, scores. It did call the Rivera play a steal, because maybe not truly a wild pitch. Don't want to penalize the pitcher there for a ball that was in the dirt. That one was a little different, because I feel like Chun waited before seeing the ball was in the dirt before he took off. I don't think he was intending to steal like maybe Rivera was, a batter before him. But we'll see what that is officially scored, as it's a 2-0 count to Gonzalez. He takes that one inside, but called a strike. It's 2-1. Gonzalez does have the team lead in RBIs, as I mentioned, with 16. One of 4 guys with a home run. Nobody's hit 2 home runs yet for the team. as this one is chopped in off the hands and foul down the first base line. As I mentioned, this pitching staff for Alabama A&M has had a brutal start to the year. Last night they were able to kind of piece it together. It certainly felt like a more in-control game for them on the mound than the final score would indicate. Get you some of their numbers in just a moment as we wait on a long look in from Jones on the 2-2 count to Gonzalez. He will deal. That breaking ball breaks too far inside. It is 3-2. The highest ERA the lowest ERA in this team actually belongs to the man who led up the winning run last night, Tristan Curlis, who is a two-way player, made just his second appearance of the year. He's got a 0 ERA as the run was not attributed to his record last night. The full count pitch now is high and inside. Bases are quickly loaded for the Wildcats with nobody out, which will bring up the always imposing Manny Soufrain. The big lefty first baseman, Soufrain, junior, hitting .281 in 22 starts this season. 18 hits, 12 RBI, 7 doubles. That leads the team. After a pair last night took the team lead from Sergio Rivera. He does have a triple and a home run. 19 runs scored for him. Would love to help the Wildcats put up a crooked number early. The first pitch is a big looping breaking ball over the head of Soufrain. It'll be a ball 1. Bases are jammed as he'll take that one in there for a strike, being very patient at the plate, as you'd probably expect, as Jones has not started off things on the best of feet. With the 3 base runners allowed already, 2 of them via the walk. This pitch is a breaking ball sent foul back behind the left field bleachers. And Manny Soufrain is down 1-2. Soufrain got every bit of a pair of doubles last night. One down into the right field corner, and the other bounced all the way to the wall out in left center. So a very complete hitter, maybe has the most pop of any Wildcat on this roster, as he sends this one high out into center field. It will hang up there for Doris. He will make the play. Tagging from third is Sergio Rivera. He will score. Garrett Chun moves into third base, and the Wildcats are on the board. It is 2-1. Maybe another night tonight, much like we saw last night. I think the game was tied a total of 3 times last night. Bulldogs take the early lead. Wildcats tied it up. Bulldogs took another lead by a couple of runs. Wildcats tied it up again, finally took their first lead. We're tied again and finally pulled it off in the bottom of the ninth. So we'll see what this looks like from a defensive standpoint, as the first pitch to Ramses Cordova is fouled down the left field line. Runners at first and third. Gonzalez at first and Chun at third. There is one away for the junior Cordova. They will try the double steal attempt here, as Gonzalez will take off from first down to second. The play works much as it did last night, as not only does Garrett Chun come around to score, but Gonzalez is in there safely at second, as the first baseman Curlis dropped the ball. Another brutal bit of defense from Alabama A&M on a play that is really designed just to take the out between the base paths at first and second and bring a run home. Well, it does both, as that is going to be a straight double steal. Gonzalez will take second, Chun home, and this game is all tied up at 2-2 with just 1 out. Runner still in scoring position as Cordova takes this one inside, 1-1. Base running has absolutely crushed Alabama A&M in the very early part of this series. It is a tough play to defend, but there is a play to defend that double steal. We haven't really seen it work yet, as this ball is popped straight up but back and foul. It's a play that we've talked on the broadcast collectively a lot throughout the season, as how does it continue to work? You'd figure teams scout it, teams are prepared for it. The Wildcats seem to go to it just about any time there's runners on first and third, even with 2 outs. But it continues to put runs home, as Ramsey takes this one out into center field. It will flare and stay just up of the diving glove of Doris. A nice play there, making that long run, wind, keeping that one further towards the infield, but Doris is able to make the play, and there are two away. No move from Gonzalez at second. He remains there, which will bring up George Rodriguez, batting out of the sixth spot, catching tonight. The junior hitting .224 in his 12th start of the season. 11 hits, 4 RBIs, 8 runs scored. He takes a first pitch strike. Does have 3 doubles on the season. Breaking ball is fouled off down past the dugout of Alabama A&M. It is 0-2. Been an eventful start to this game as we are all locked up at 2-2 early on, courtesy of RBI sacrifice fly from Manny Sufrain and a steal of home as this one is hit over the head of the third baseman Riera, and nearly thought Gonzalez might be out at third, trying to round a little bit, but he remains there as that's going to be a base hit for George Rodriguez. There are runners at the corners once again, this time with 2 out for Peter Vasquez. I would not be shocked in the slightest if we see the double steal attempt once again here. You would like to think Alabama A&M would be prepared for it by now. But notably with that double steal, you'll see Curlis is down there at first base, very close to the bag. Opens up the hole over there on the right side. Peter Vasquez takes a breaking ball right down the middle for strike one. Vasquez, junior third baseman, hitting .271 in his 16th start of the year. 16 hits, 9 RBIs, 17 runs scored, a couple of doubles, no triples, no home runs. He'll swing through that one to go down 0-2. Now, especially down here in the count 0-2, I would not be shocked if we see the double steal. I've not seen it to this point. The Wildcats have been known to try it. Over there at first base, the runner will go. Cordova will just be given second base, maybe wisely, but that's another perk of having that double steal in the play repertoire, because now you've basically been given a free pass down there at second base because the Bulldogs are so wary of making a mistake for the runner at home. 2 runners in scoring position for Peter Vasquez, 1-2. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, and that will end the first inning for the Wildcats. But not before they take advantage for 2 runs to tie things up at 2-2. It is a brand new ball game as we head to the second inning. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. Top of the second inning here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Marcos Gamboa will dig back in with the game all even once again at 2-2, courtesy of a sacrifice fly and a double steal that scored a pair of runs for the Wildcats. He will look to work his first shutdown inning of the afternoon. His first pitch is a ball. This to, I believe, Bryson Hammonds. Excuse me, that is Blake Martin for the DH. Hitting .250 on the year. 9 hits and 36 ABs, 7 RBIs, does have a home run and a double. He'll hit this one on the ground over to third base. Peter Vasquez will throw it over to first. Sufrain will grab it. And there's quickly one away. Gamboa, the former Bethune-Cookman kicker for the football program, heard some rumblings that he may be trying to pick up the spikes again, but haven't seen him out at early spring practice so far for the Wildcats, as you'd probably expect for a player in season, as he fouls this one back down onto the street. Gamboa out of Fort Pierce, Florida. Was the midweek starter for much of the year last year. Earned himself a weekend spot to start this year, as that one is a strike to Kylan Duncan, hitting just .068 so far on the season. In 44 at-bats, managed just 3 hits. He'll take that one for a ball. It does have a couple RBIs and 3 runs scored. One of his 3 hits, a double. This one breaking ball a little bit low again. 2-0. So Gamboa is that midweek guy last year. Obviously, the midweek schedule so difficult for the Wildcats year in and year out, playing the teeth of Florida's collegiate baseball system. This one is high, 3-0 for Duncan. Last year took starts against FIU, UCF, Florida State, Jacksonville, South Florida, UCF again. As another one on the line to Vasquez at third. He will throw over easily, and it will be 2 away for the Bulldogs. Down now to the 9-hitter Chevalier Doris. The senior came in a pinch hitting situation late last night. Hitting just .162 so far in the season, much like many of those in this bottom half of the Bulldogs order. This is his 12th start of the season. He'll take the first pitch in the dirt low, ball 1. 6 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 doubles, 8 runs scored, no triples, no home runs for him. Fouls this one back to the backstop. So Gamboa has certainly seen his fair share of adversity early on in his career. Anytime you play a schedule like that last year, certainly prepares you for the very least SWAC play, as this one's in there for a strike, 1-2 now. Gamboa's been a little up and down to start this season. That ball is inside, counts even at 2-2 now. He's made starts against Stonehill, Gulf Coast, Northwestern Maine, Florida A&M. He's allowed at least 1 run in all of them, but he's been solid against Florida A&M last week, allowed just 1 earned run. This ball is chopped foul, count stays 2-2. Against Stonehill in 5 2/3, he allowed 1 earned run. Against Northwestern, Maine, and Florida A&M in 3 straight, he's allowed only 2 earned runs against Northwestern and Maine, and then, of course, the one against Florida A&M. Been let down a little bit by his defense a handful of times, but we've seen both sides. This one is flared over the head of Cordova at shortstop, and it will be down into left field. That'll be a base hit for the 9-hitter Doris. And a little bit of 2-out trouble again for the Wildcats. It's haunted them a fair amount early on this season. That'll turn things over to the top of the lineup once again, and Alex Diaz. Diaz out of Houston, Texas. As there's a throw over to first, check in on Doris. He will dive back in safely. Diaz transferred from Coastal Alabama Community College. Long look in for Gamboa. He will deliver. Big swing and a miss on a ball in the dirt. First pitch Diaz sees. He's down 0-1. Gamboa, not a guy who relies on a ton of strikeouts. Just 14 on the season for him as this one's fouled off over the bleachers and left. Much like a lot of this Wildcats pitching staff, maybe relied more so on the strikeouts last year, especially with the guy in the top, Nolan Santos, who today was assigned to Single A, the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles, down south today, as many of the Wildcats getting their assignments ahead of the start of minor league baseball season. Anthony Maldonado, relief pitcher for the Marlins in their system, will start the season in AAA. Yohan Gonzalez, I believe, is also in Single A for the Padres. He was assigned today. Just a couple of the names around the minor leagues for Bethune-Cookman. A couple of exciting players we've seen over the past handful of years starting to make their foray into Major League Baseball. As there is a 0-2 count now to Diaz. Pitch out. But the runner Doris will stay over at first base. The 1-2 now. Swung on, chopped just in front of the plate. Will be ruled a foul ball. Like I mentioned, Tortuga's season starting in just under 2 weeks. Of course, Major League Baseball kicking off in full last night, or yesterday, I should say. Not all the games were at night, but baseball season is in full swing, although it feels like the collegiate baseball season has been in swing for forever now. Its ball is sent high and deep out into right field, but it will go foul off the visitors' clubhouse. Busy weekend in the baseball world, busy weekend in BCU athletics. Peek inside the curtain. Our staff out here ran very quickly over from softball over at Sunnyland Park, wrapping up their first game against Florida A&M down to here. About 20 minutes before the start of this game, as this one is hit over on the ground to Colton Olison. He'll go the short way to second. Ramses Cordova is there, and that will retire the side. Nothing doing for Alabama A&M. The 2-out base hit does not come back to bite anyone, and we will head to the bottom of the second. This game's still tied up at 2-2. You are listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. Bottom of the second now from Jackie Robinson Ballpark. It will be Colton Olison to lead things off out of the 8th spot against Ryan Jones. Marcos Gamboa was able to work the first shutdown inning of the game on either side in the top of the second. Wildcats will look to add and potentially take the lead here as there's a big looping breaking ball is in there for a strike to Colton Olison. The senior Olison hitting .211 on the year. That average has continued to creep up and up and up from a slow start to the season for the second baseman. He takes this ball inside. It is 1-1. 15 hits on the season for Olson, 9 RBIs, which is always impressive out of the bottom half of the lineup. 8 runs scored, 3 doubles. The 1-1 to him is fouled to the backstop. Olson, the leader of this team, the captain of this Wildcats squad. I've seen a lot. One of the longest tenured players on this roster. Been here through a little bit of everything, including the COVID-19 shutdown a handful of years ago. This ball is hit over the head of the pitcher, bouncing ball down to second base. Duncan cannot make the play. He throws it past the glove of Curlis at first. Olson will not only get first, but he will be awarded second as that ball sails into the Bulldogs dugout. And it's another first out base runner, or excuse me, no out base runner. And this time it's a double, or well, I guess a single and some extracurriculars there, but there will be a runner in scoring position in a hurry for the Wildcats as we will go down to Daniel Figueroa hitting out of the 9 spot. Jones will look at Olson at second, but he will deliver the first pitch, and it's sent over into center field, over the infield. Colton Olson will head down to third. Figueroa into first. Ball sails a little bit wild coming in on the potential throw home, and as a result, Figueroa will take second base. Some more smart base running for the Wildcats puts now 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out. As we turn things back over to the top of the Wildcat order at Sergio Rivera. This is more of the pitching staff I think we expected to see from Alabama A&M. Last night, it was a little bit different of a story. They were able to kind of gut their way through to the bullpen. Big breaking ball to Rivera is outside. But this staff has really gotten lit up a lot this season. So we certainly don't expect the Wildcats lineup to stay quiet for too long. The 1-0 to lead off Rivera. Hit foul to the Wildcats dugout. But especially when they're able to get leadoff runners on, 2 of them now before an out is recorded, much like last inning. Could spell a quick trip to the bullpen for Alabama A&M. No one warming now, of course, a little bit early for that, but Jones is nearing 40 pitches already. And that's with nobody out. Having a brief conversation with the home plate official to confirm the count. It is 1-1. Wind continues to rip from dead center field right back to us behind home plate. This one is again in the dirt. Nice job by Tribbett to corral it, keep it from going to the large backstop here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Avoid the opportunity for another run to score without the benefit of a hit. It has already happened once on the double steal that tied things at 2-2. That ball nearly hits Rivera, but will be just ruled a ball. It is 3-1 now. Runners on second and third, nobody out. 3-1 count to Sergio Rivera. Breaking ball is fouled out of play. Rivera 13 RBIs on the season for him already. Had the team lead in doubles with 6 until last night when Manny Soufrain surpassed him with a couple of them. Does have 2 triples as well. Swings and misses on a ball way out of the zone. And he will go down on strikes. Nice rebound from Jones to collect his first out of the inning, but that will bring up another potent bat at top of the BCU order. This is Garrett Chun. Chun is the team leader in RBIs with 23, once named SWAC Hitter of the Week about a month ago now. First pitch he sees is a breaking ball on the outside half. Ruled a ball. Chun has been a catalyst in a lot of ways for the offensive attack for the Wildcats early. One of the veteran bats returning from last year's SWAC runner-up roster. Take another breaking ball, being very careful with Chun working him away. It's 2-0. Could see a Wildcat bases loaded situation once again with just one away here in the second if Jones is not able to find the zone. Lineup doesn't get any easier from here, though, with Gonzalez and Sufrain ready to head to the plate after Chun. Another one outside. This time it's called a strike, a little bit generous call on the outer half of the plate from Cooper. The 2-1 is low this time. It is 3-1. Got to be thinking Garrett Chun could very well leave the bat on his shoulders from here. Try to work the walk, try to load things up for that heart of the BCU lineup. Chun's already walked once tonight. The 3-1 to him. Make it twice as Chun will load the bases up for the second straight inning, this time with one out. As Jose Gonzalez, another guy who has walked once already tonight, will head to the plate. Certainly not the makings of an easy night on the mound for Alabama A&M thus far. Jones will look in and deliver a ball low and outside. Jones has an interesting delivery to the plate. His front leg, his right leg, stays kind of behind his stance as he holds the ball down by his hip, winds and delivers. He will do so via strike right there. It is 1-1. Excuse me, the manual scoreboard out in left field. Oh, it is 1-1. They had 0-2. That one is way outside. It is 2-1 now. Much of the success for the Bulldogs on the mound, if you want to call it that, in a game where they allowed 8, came just really by pounding the strike zone. They didn't walk many batters, as this one is chopped in off the hands over to third base. Riera grabs it, throws over to second for one, to first, not in time, as Colton Olson will come around to score, and the Wildcats will take a 3-2 lead via the fielder's choice. Nice hustle by Gonzalez to avoid the double play and allow the run to score for the Wildcats. And now runners are at the corners once again with 2 outs, this time for Manny Sufrain. Situation looks eerily similar to the first frame. We will see if the Wildcats decide to flirt with a double steal attempt once again. Figueroa, plenty of speed at third base. 9 stolen base attempts on the year. He's been successful in 8 of them. First pitch to Sufrain is outside. Sometimes the Wildcats will kind of wait to see how the at-bat unfolds before deciding to break out the steal play. And with Sufrain quickly taking 2 pitches well outside, may likely just see the bat remain on the shoulders and everybody stay put. Alabama A&M certainly wary of the play, though. No advance as Sufrain will swing through that one. It is 2-1. Sufrain will step back into the box and look in from Jones. He'll deliver the 2-1. The runner will go as Sufrain fouls this one back. And Gonzalez will be forced to retreat to first. Kind of you see as Sufrain now down to 2-2. Would not be shocked if we see the double steal here. Runner will go. Sufrain will take this high out into left field. Hammonds is under it. He will make the play against the wind to retire the side. So the Wildcats grab 1. That's via the Gonzalez fielder's choice. They take the lead at 3-2, but they do strand a pair. We will head to the 3rd inning. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. Tristan Curlis leads off the bottom of the, or excuse me, the top of the third inning as the Wildcats hold a 3-2 advantage early on in this contest. As Marcos Gamboa will dig in for his third inning of work. Excuse me, that is not Curlis, that is Emerald. Hitting second, was one ahead. As he laces this one out into left field over the glove of Ramses Cordova and into left field for a base hit. A leadoff base runner for Alabama A&M. They've done most of their damage so far with 2 outs, but we'll start this one with a man on base. That will bring up Tristan Curlis. Who is making his first at-bat of the night, or his first plate appearance, as he did walk his first time through. First pitch he sees is fouled off to the left side. Wind continues to roll in from center field. Every 5 balls, a little bit of an adventure out here. Big swing and a miss from Curlis. Down 0-2. Gamboa 1 strikeout so far on the day with a walk as well. This one is high. Thought we might see a throw over to first, but Amaral will trot back in. A little bit chillier of a day here at the Jack than it was yesterday. That ball is in the dirt, and Curlis says even to the count at 2-2. Maybe not quite as windy. Last night looking at close to probably 20 miles an hour. Right now sitting at 13 according to the internet at the very least. This one is fouled to the left side. It will drift out of play thanks to a little help from the wind. 66 degrees right now. That will continue to drop. Temperatures could get as low as the mid-50s tonight. Of course, Wildcats with the afternoon game tomorrow to wrap things up. 1 o'clock. That ball is well high once again. Losing the zone there is Gamboa, and there are 2 on with nobody out for Alabama A&M in a game where nobody can really seem to find any momentum on the mound. Second walk of the game for Gamboa, the 10th of the season for him, which will bring up Jared Tribbett, who is 1 for 1 with an RBI. Just 205 is Tribbett as he takes first pitch for a ball, but he does lag only a couple of runs behind the team lead in RBIs. So again, it's his top of the order for Alabama A&M that has done so much damage. As Joel Sanchez, the pitching coach for Bethune-Cookman, will make a short walk out to the mound to check on Gamboa. Infield will come in and just have a quick conversation with the junior, try to calm him down. Plenty of game left for Gamboa. No activity in either bullpen. A couple of Wildcats will maybe trot down there, but nobody's stretching or anything, at least quite yet. Like I said, Gamboa never been a big strikeout guy. Last year, 25 and 28 2/3 innings pitched. A 1.60 whip, so has dealt with base runners, his fair share of base runners, I should say, a season ago. 4.71 ERA last year for him. So he's certainly has some of the more experienced pitching on this Wildcat staff, at least at the Division I level and in the SWAC. Of course, Tanner Vocabello in front of him on Friday night, making his debut season with the program. Daniel Gaviria will go tomorrow. He was tabbed the preseason SWAC Pitcher of the Year. Sunday guy last year, Sunday guy this year. Both of them very much the same in that they should rely primarily on contact to get outs, as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed by Jared Trippett to even the count at 1-1. Does seem like for Gamboa that he has kind of taken a bit to settle into games, but the early innings of his starts have been adventurous at times, as this one is hit high into foul territory along the right field line. It is Manny Soufrain over and underneath it. He makes the play for the first out of the inning. Nice break there from Gamboa to put an out on the board.
Now batting third baseman number 7, Jesus Riera.
That'll bring up Jesus Riera, who is also 1 for 1. He had the other RBI back in the first inning for Alabama A&M. They are looking to try to potentially tie things up once again. Olson will make a run in, trying to look for potential pickoff attempt at second, but there will be no throw. First pitch is a strike to Riera. Gamboa again working a little bit more deliberately than many of the Wildcat staff. This one's fouled back 0-2 now. Even last night, Joe Alcore making a start in place of Bocabello, who is dealing with a little bit of the flu this weekend. Worked very, very quickly, especially with nobody on base. Slowed down a bit when guys get on, as a big breaking ball is swung on and missed. For the second strikeout of the game for Gamboa, Riera goes down hacking. And a nice recovery by Gamboa to go from 2 on and nobody out to 2 on and 2 outs for Bryson Hammonds. Hammonds 0 for 1 in his first AB tonight. Gamboa's first pitch, breaking ball, throw over to first base. And that nabs Curlis. A nice throw down there by George Rodriguez. Nails the runner at first. A little bit too much of a lead. Nice job by the Wildcats to sniff it out, and that will retire the side. So 2 base runners to start the inning are for naught. Alabama A&M scoreless in the top of the third. Wildcats maintain the 3-2 lead here at the Jack. We'll be right back. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. Ramses Cordova will lead things off in the bottom of the third. Wildcats holding on to a 3-2 lead in the early goings here tonight. Ryan Jones remains on the mound, the starter for Alabama A&M. His first pitch is that big breaking ball. It's in. Nope, it is not in there. That'll be ball 1. Thought it broke over the plate, but no, sir, says the home plate official, Daryl Cooper. A little bit of activity in the Alabama A&M pen. Nobody throwing yet, but a pen full of people starting to stir down there. That one is inside for a ball. The breaking ball has not been super consistent yet for Jones. Hasn't gotten the swings and misses on it. It's a little bit slow and easy to track for the BCU bats. As Cordova will work the count to 3-0. And that one is well high and well outside. A first pitch base. I keep messing that up. That is a leadoff base runner. Once again for Bethune-Cookman. Again with nobody out. They've done a nice job of putting runners on, threatening very early in these innings, which has made it difficult for Jones to climb out of a little bit of a hole. And like I mentioned a little bit last inning, much of the success for Alabama A&M last night came from forcing contact, forcing the Wildcats to swing, keeping balls in the zone, attacking the zone. First pitch to George Rodriguez is low for a ball. But when the control starts to suffer, that's when the Wildcats are able to remain patient, work walks, work hit by pitches, work their way into hitters' counts, and take advantage. And Alabama A&M struggling with that a little bit so far tonight. That one is inside. 6 straight balls from the junior lefty Jones. Jones out of Pahuska, Oklahoma, Northeastern Junior College transfer. 5'10", 190, bit of a smaller frame on the mound. As that one saw Rodriguez back out of the way a little bit, but it is ruled a strike. First strike of the inning for Jones. This is Jones' first season with the program, as there's a big swing and a miss there. Count is even now at 2-2. Nice recovery by Jones after the rough start control-wise. This one is hit high and deep out into left field down the line. That's a fair ball, and that ball is gone. Long decision there from the home plate official, but he does give the signal. That's a 2-run home run off the bat of George Rodriguez. That is his second home run of the season. He becomes the first Wildcat to hit 2 home runs on the year. He will chase home Cordova, and the Wildcats open up a 5-2 lead over Alabama A&M. Rodriguez got every bit of that ball as the wind, despite its best efforts to blow it foul, still kicking very hard in off the water. But no doubt about that one, over the bullpen, the batting cages out there in left field, long gone. Certainly not a day weather-wise you would expect to see the long ball be a factor, but when you hit it as hard as Rodriguez did, no doubt there. That'll bring up Peter Vasquez, who will show bunt but take a strike for the first pitch he sees. And now we will start to see the activity ramp up in the Alabama A&M bullpen. That breaking ball is tagged foul. It was the walk early, the lack of control. We thought Jones maybe had started to figure that out a little bit. Mid-AB versus Rodriguez, but left one over the heart of the plate, and it was tattooed out to left field. That one is chopped over to third, but foul. Certainly not the longest home run we've seen for the Wildcats by any stretch this year. As hard as that ball was hit, we saw Manny Sufrain a couple of weekends ago clear the batter's eye in dead center field. That's 400 feet even. I'd say that's the longest home run I've seen at this ballpark. If weren't for a Northwestern bat that hit one maybe even further than that a night later. That breaking ball cannot find the zone. It's 1-2. Vasquez stays alive. Long ball has never really been a critical part of a Jonathan Hernandez coached Wildcats team. Of course, playing in Jackie Robinson Ballpark doesn't make that an easy task anyway. That breaking ball is hit up the middle, out into center field. It will bounce in front of Doris, and another base hit, this time for Peter Vasquez. As the lights kick on here at the Jack, just over an hour into this contest tonight. Colton Olson will be the batter now. Still nobody out. Maybe getting towards the end of the leash for Jones, who is at 64 pitches so far. Of course, it doesn't get any better in that bullpen, as this one is bunted down the line, but fouled. ERAs for the Bulldogs, much like we talked about in last night's contest. The two highest ERAs on the team, or excuse me, the lowest, the best ERAs on the team, are both still in the mid-sevens. Trey Scott, Charlie Lazo in the mid-sevens. Anthony Mateo, who we saw last night, 794. As the runner will go, swung on by Olesen, head out into center field. Drifting over into right center field, it will be Diaz who makes the play, and Peter Vasquez has to hustle back to beat the throw into first, one away.
Now batting for Bethune-Cookman.
Ryan Jones sits middle of the pack for this Bulldogs team at a 9.17 ERA. And after that, 9.82, 10.29, 11, 12.27, 15.24, 17.18, 20.25. And that's for a pitcher who's made 4 starts on the year. So not a whole lot of success on that pitching staff. It's kind of cut this Alabama A&M roster down at the knees in many contests to start this year. And certainly not going to get any easier against maybe the top team in the East. Bulldogs are kind of unfortunate to play in a very contested SWAC East. Likes of Alabama State, Bethune-Cookman, Florida A&M, and Jackson State, who's off to a tear to start this season. The East certainly more of a pitcher's side of the conference as opposed to the West, which has traditionally been a lot more offensively focused. The 1-0 to Daniel Figueroa hitting out of the 9 spot is fouled back. That'll make it 1-1. Figueroa is still very much the guy that the Wildcats would love to see take command of the leadoff spot, but putting him in that 9 hole after a little bit of a scuffle to start the season at the plate, at least from his standards. Again, just hitting .234, but was responsible for the rally back in the second. He does have a hit as he takes a ball there. It's 2-1. Just kind of a mental hurdle to try to get over for Figueroa. He swings through a breaking ball there. Count is 2-2. Might have gotten a piece of that one, but it is a 2-2 count either way. We've seen Colton Olson kind of anchor that 9 spot for most of his Wildcats career, although he got off to such a torrid start last season that Coach Hernandez did flirt a little bit with him in that leadoff spot, but after a couple of games up there, Olson quickly was put back down in his spot in the 9 hole, and I think he was more than happy with that. Just a lot, whatever less pressure that may come with being at the bottom of the lineup. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball, and Figueroa goes down on strikes, which will turn things over to the top of the order once again. Third time through for the Wildcats, it's Sergio Rivera. Rivera 1 for 2 tonight with a strikeout. Runner on first and 2 away for Bethune-Cookman, now holding the 5-2 lead, courtesy of the George Rodriguez home run. He will show bunt, but no offering as that ball bounces to the plate. The Bulldogs are actually not last ERA-wise in the conference. That honor belongs to Alcorn State, whose 10.83 team ERA is just a half a run above the 10.27 Alabama A&M ERA, as this one is swung through and missed by Rivera. It's 1-1. Alcorn State with just 1 win on the year. Only 81 strikeouts for the Braves and over 100 innings. This ball is hit over to third, stopped by Riera, thrown over to first, but it is in time. Thought there was going to be a closer play there. Bang, bang play over at first goes the way of the Bulldogs. They will retire the side. Fortunately enough for the Wildcats, George Rodriguez puts them in front by a wider margin. It is 5-2 now as we take things to the fourth inning here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. Bryson Hammonds will lead things off for Alabama A&M now in a 5-2 hole thanks to a George Rodriguez home run in the bottom half of the third inning for Bethune-Cookman. Work to do against Marcos Gamboa, who is back out on the mound. First pitch to Hammonds is a breaking ball that is just on the outside edge for strike one. Gamboa not looked his sharpest tonight, but still only the 2 runs to his name as this ball is flared foul down the right field line. Manny Soufrain, long run, will make a diving effort at it, but ball hops to the wall. It'll be 0-2. Handful of folks starting to poke around in the bullpen. Could go a long way here. A quick inning for Gamboa could earn him a chance at the win tonight, as we're still just in the fourth inning, so would not be in line for the win if he gives way to the bullpen in the next 2 innings. This fastball high is too high. It is 1-2. Gamboa right around 70 pitches with this one right here. That breaking ball is tagged foul. Will drift over to the Turtle's Nest, out of play. Temperature dropping a little bit as the sun begins to set over the bleachers in left field. Still plenty light back here. The shadow starting to be cast along the left field line and over the plate. Plenty of sun in the outfield still. As that breaking ball is again hit foul. Hammonds will stay alive at 1-2. Another fastball high. 2-2 now. Hammonds 0 for 1 tonight. This ball is hit on the ground over to Soufrain. A nice sliding stop. Big hustle play. But he is not able to beat the throw out, as there will be one away for Alabama A&M. An impressive effort by Hammonds to try to beat that throw out. It was really sprinting down the line, but Soufrain was too close to the bag. Only had to take a couple of steps after he gathered that one. This first pitch fastball to Blake Martin is a bit high for a ball. Gamboa working with some pace now. Fires in another one up high in the zone, but this one is in there for a strike. It's 1-1. Gamboa noticeably quicker now than he has been in his first handful of innings so far. This one trying to find that same spot just a bit high. It's 2-1. That one right down the middle. Interesting change of approach from Gamboa, who continues to work quickly. Gave himself kind of a hurry-up sign on the mound from the sign from the catcher. This one is flared out into right field, drifting a bit, but Rivera is under it. He makes the grab. There are two away. Really a welcome change of pace from Gamboa. Maybe it was something as simple as, giving Alabama A&M more time in the box, more time to think between pitches. And Gamboa has stepped up his approach, moved much quicker, as really just kind of seems like he's waiting on the sign from Rodriguez to move before anything else. That's where we kind of saw him give a hurry-up sign to his wrist and the pitch calm. First pitch to Kylan Duncan is inside for a ball. And he will chop this one over to Olison at second. Gathers, throws over to first. And 1-2-3 inning for the first time tonight from either side. Gamboa works quickly, earns himself likely another inning on the mound. And the Wildcats will maintain the 5-2 lead. We will be right back. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. Pitcher on the mound for the Alabama A&M Bulldogs as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning. Still in search of Alabama A&M's first scoreless inning of the contest, as the Wildcats hold that 5-2 lead, thanks in part to a long home run by George Gonzalez, or Rodriguez, excuse me. I was just having a conversation with one of our staff members about Gonzalez Fabo and got the names mixed up there. But for the Bulldogs now, it is Evan Hurlburt, right-handed pitcher, 6'1", 190 out of Arvada, Colorado. He digs in against Garrett Chun, whose at-bat was cut short last time up. Hurlburt in his first season with Alabama A&M. ERA is not pretty, as this one is outside. It's 1-1. In 20 innings pitched so far on the year, he's allowed 35 earned runs, 36 runs on the whole, so it certainly hasn't been at the expense of his defense. The 1-1 to Chun is fouled back. In those 20 and 2/3 innings, struck out 16, walked 8, allowed 4 doubles, 1 triple, and the kicker 12 home runs. 12 home runs in 20 and 2/3 innings. He's also hit 12 batters, so it hasn't always been the walks that have done him in. Just 8 and 20 innings doesn't look bad on paper, but when you couple that with 12 hit by pitches, that's 20 free passes, allowing just about 1 an inning. That big breaking ball misses. It's 2-2 to Chun. This one is swung on and chopped to right back to Hurlburt. He throws over to first. There's one away. That will bring up
The batter, designated hitter, number 21.
Jose Gonzalez. Gonzalez so far tonight is 0 for 1. Did work a walk as this one sails to the backstop. A slider that slid quite a bit past the glove of Tribbett behind the plate, but nobody on, so nobody is able to advance. That's your textbook Jackie Robinson ballpark wild pitch that often leads to trouble, but nobody on base, so it won't matter as this one is tagged over to third base off the glove of Riera into left field, and Gonzalez will take a base, his first hit of the night. The Wildcats will continue to put the pressure on the Bulldogs. No 1-2-3 inning yet this evening. That trend will continue into at least the fifth as Manny Sufrain heads to the plate. 0 for 1 tonight with an RBI. That ball is well outside. Breaking balls have been a little erratic to start the night for Hurlburt. Certainly looks like a pitch, especially to right-handed batters that could sail in as that kind of curve ball that breaks to the outer half against lefties and a slider that breaks in on lefties. Goes with the slider there, it looked like, as that one's fouled back. Sufrain, a very patient hitter, will certainly not make things easy if Hurlburt can't find the zone. He has 26 walks on the season, which is 10 better than the next closest Wildcat, that being Garrett Chun. Takes this one outside. It's 2-1. Also leads the team in hit by pitches with 8. So looking at 34 bases via the hit by pitch or the walk, putting that on base percentage well over 500, 531. Another ball, Sufrain staring down the barrel of his 27th walk of the season. So really just a great cleanup hitter for the Wildcats is Sufrain. Can get on base, can provide power as he does right there. This ball is hit high and deep out into right center field. A couple of steps in front of the warning track, though, is Diaz, and there are 2 away. It's a ball that maybe on any other night you could argue could have been over the wall out there in right center. The wind is not going to make a ball like that easy tonight. I'm not sure if that one completely gets out. He got a little bit more under it than I think he wanted to, but you see there just the power stroke that Manny Sufrain is capable of, which will lead us to Ramses Cordova with 2 away and 1 on. No runs in on the inning. Alabama A&M looking to get out scoreless for the first time tonight. Cordova will hit this one high out into left field. Or so I thought off the bat, but that one actually looks like it's going to drift foul right back behind home plate. We saw a couple of balls last night that started in foul territory and were very quickly blown over the netting into the stands. That ball probably something similar there. It's been a brutal day for a fly ball. This one is kind of a swinging bunt over to first base. Curlis grabs it. He will tag the bag himself, and that will retire the side. So Alabama A&M finally works a scoreless inning thanks to a strong effort from Evan Hurlburt. Works around a leadoff base runner and escapes unscathed. Wildcats still lead, though, 5-2. We will take a quick break and be right back. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. Marcos Gamboa will remain on the mound for Bethune-Cookman after working a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the fourth inning. We head now to the top of the fifth inning. And Chevalier Doris, the 9-hitter, will lead things off. He shows bunt on the first pitch he sees, but will pull it back as that one's outside for a ball. The ball is inside, chases Doris back a little bit. Doris out of Collierville, Tennessee. No, excuse me, Raymond, Mississippi. Looking at the wrong line. This one is hit hard and deep out into right field. Sergio Rivera will grab it on a run backwards, maybe right about a step in front of the warning track. That ball was hit hard. That was another one that very well could have gotten out on any other night, but that wind continues to rip in. It's been steady all night as it was last night. I don't think it's quite as hard as it was last night. Weather app says 14 miles an hour out of the north. But that one keeps it in the park as we turn things over to Alex Diaz at the top of the lineup once again. He takes first pitch outside for a ball. He takes this one swinging on the inside, strike one. And again, we see Gamboa working very quickly, a much change of pace as this one's fouled off to the left side of the field. Taking it up significantly from the start of this game, and he has had success as a result. Hard contact there from Doris, of course, but still results in an out. This one is chopped over towards first base. Gamboa will gather it. He will make the tag for the out himself, and there are two away for Alabama A&M. What a turn it's been for Gamboa on the mound. Talked about it early on in the game, just the slow pace, which differs so much from much of the pitching staff on this Wildcats roster. Guys like Daniel Gaviria, Tanner Vocabello work very quickly. Dylan Vega out of the pen does the same thing. That one is a strike to Dre Amaral. Funny when you say his name quickly like that, almost sounds like a pharmaceutical drug. Take you a couple of Dre Amarals. That's 1-1 to him now, batting out of the number 2 spot. He is 1 for 2 so far tonight. Make it 1 for 3 as he flares this out to center field, which will be caught easily by Figueroa to retire the side. 2 straight 1-2-3 innings. A very welcome change from Gamboa. He gets out of this one quickly, sending us to the bottom of the 5th with the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats still holding a 5-2 lead. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. Evan Hurlburt remains on the mound for Alabama A&M after working the Bulldogs' first clean inning of the contest back in the bottom of the 4th inning. He'll look to keep that momentum going against the man who gave the Wildcats a little bit of a cushion in his last AB, George Rodriguez, who sent the long home run over the batting cages in left field, scoring Ramses Cordova for a 2-run home run that made it a 5-2 game. He takes the first pitch of the AB for a strike. Hurlburt again, that 15.24 ERA certainly does not look pretty on paper, but he was fairly in control his last time through. This one's a ball. It's those breaking balls that have been a little bit of an adventure. And he has something of a slider that breaks away from right-handers and that curveball that breaks in on right-handers. He's been primarily breaking ball. He does another one there. That's that slider. Kind of begins to break away and then a sharp break in at the last moment. There is still activity in the Bulldogs bullpen. Goes fastball there. That one's called a strike. It's 2-1. Hurlburt has not started. He's been used totally out of the bullpen on the season for AAMU. This one is inside. That was called a strike. I was a little confused there because it looked well inside, so I was waiting for a very late strike call with the ball in the dirt, forced the throw over to first base, but regardless, there is one away for Bethune-Cookman now for Peter Vasquez. That is the first strikeout of the game for Hurlburt. His 17th of the season. That ball is in there to Vasquez. Nearly clipped him on the knees, but he's able to get out of the way. It's 1-0 for Hurlburt. Most of his strikeouts came early on in the season. Really came out with a bang to start the year against UAPB. Struck out 9 in 4 2/3 innings, allowing just 1 run. This ball is well outside. It's 2-0 now. Followed it up with a decent outing against Butler, in which he struck out 5. Did allow 4 runs in that one, though, and then has gone 0-1-1-0-0 in a chunk of innings since then. So it's kind of cooled off from a start in which he was inducing a lot of swings and misses. With that has come the rise in hit by pitches, though. That's another breaking ball well out of the zone. He hit 3 at Butler, 2 at New Orleans, 4 at Louisiana Monroe, and then 1 each in his last 3 outings against Florida A&M and a couple against Bama State. Has not hit a batter yet, but with the breaking ball the way it is, you can see how it could be coming at any time. 2-1 now to Peter Vasquez as he takes a strike on a fastball. Excuse me, 3-1, says the home plate official. I appreciate the continued efforts of the Wildcats managers down there running that manual scoreboard. This ball is hit high in the infield. That will drift foul thanks to the wind. Tristan Curlis will make the play in foul territory, and there are 2 away. So ghastly numbers aside, Evan Hurlburt has been solid and really given Alabama A&M some stability on the mound after the starter Ryan Jones was forced out of the game a little bit early. Colton Olson, 1 for 2 on the night. He will dig in now with 2 away and nobody on. Wildcats still in front 5-2. He'll take a slider in there in the bottom of the zone for a strike. That final line, as I mentioned, the starter Jones went 3 innings, allowed 5 runs, 3 of them earned, 6 hits, walked 4, struck out 3. That's that slider again. This one is chopped over to shortstop. Emerald is there, but there will be no throw as the ball gets past his glove and Colton Olson is in there. We'll see what Brian Harvey scores that one. I would probably say that will go in as an error since it did look like it hit off the glove of Emerald. But that will bring us to the 9-hitter Daniel Figueroa, who is 1 for 2 tonight with a strikeout. He takes that first pitch for a strike. Herbert has thrown first pitch strike to the last handful of batters that he's seen. Olson will break for second. There will be no throw down there as he slides in easily. Great jump for Olson. That is his 4th stolen base of the year. One of the few guys with a 500 or lower stolen base percentage on the season. Dances around a little bit between short and third as this one, there's your hit by pitch. Figueroa will be awarded first, and there are 2 on with 2 outs now for the top of the Wildcat order and Sergio Rivera. Figured it was a matter of time just based on his track record for Hurlburt, but he does finally hit a batter. Fortunately for him, there are 2 away and very much in reach of getting out of this one, although the Wildcats will not make it easy, as now you have to deal with the top of the BCU order, and a guy in Sergio Rivera already has a hit tonight, 1 for 3 with a strikeout. First pitch is a ball, that slider outside the zone. Temperature continues to drop here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Decent little crowd here tonight for the second game of the 3-game series. I see Max Tulin and the rest of the Bethune-Cookman football kicking special team squad over there taking in the game, as that's another ball to Rivera. It's 2-0. BCU football has opened spring practice in full this week, had their 3rd practice of the season this morning. Bright and early, 6 a.m. Olson will break for third. He will take it with no throw. And behind him is Figueroa, 2nd and 3rd now on a 3-0 count to Sergio Rivera. Wildcats base running continuing to just put the heat on the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. It's the 2nd steal that they have taken with no throw. That ball is right down the middle. That is Herbert fires in a strike to make it 3-1 now. Give Rivera a little something to think about. Rivera will show bunt, but that ball breaks well out of the zone. He will take a base. Bases are juiced now with 2 outs for Garrett Chun. Chun has not seen a whole lot to hit so far tonight. 0 for 1 with a couple of walks. With a guy on Hurlburt on the mound, throwing the ball away, he is. Probably will see a very patient approach from Chun. Hurlburt, of course, has the tendency to hit batters. Those breaking balls have not been particularly close for the most part. First pitch to Chun with the bases juiced is a fastball taken up the other way out into left center field. It will drift over to left, and Hammonds is there to make the grab to retire the side. Promising bit of contact from Garrett Chun, but it breaks a little too far over to Hammonds, and he is there to retire the side. Wildcats don't play to run there. They do load the bases, strand 3. It's still 5-2 Wildcats as we head to the 6th inning. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. Two straight shutdown innings from Marcos Gamboa will give him a chance to work now into the 6th. He is in line for the win should the score hold at 5-2 as it currently stands in favor of Bethune-Cookman. Gamboa will throw pitch number 90 as he delivers the first one to Tristan Curlis. He has allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, both earned, has walked 2, struck out 2 tonight. There's pitch number 90, fouled off. Real change for Gamboa started in the 4th inning when his pace upped significantly. Another foul ball back to the backstop this time. Worked pretty deliberately to start the game and came out in the fourth inning and worked with some serious pace and has been rewarded since. Alabama A&M has not been able to catch up, just as Tristan Curlis does not catch up to that fastball. And he strikes out on 3 pitches. This one's swinging. Jared Tribbett now. He is 1 for 2 so far tonight. Does have an RBI. Collected that one back in the first inning. This one swings through a fastball. Could not catch up to it. Nowhere close. He's down 0-1. Another fastball. This one a little too far inside. It's 1-1 now. Wildcats tonight in the black uniform top with Wildcats script in maroon trimmed in white. This one is fouled off. It is 1-2. They will wear the white pants with the stripe down the side for Alabama A&M. They are in the maroon top, the pullover with the Bulldogs logo just below the neck, trimmed in white with the gray pants with the maroon striping down the side. More of an off-white, I guess. That breaking ball, no offering there. Waste pitch from Gamboa. Tries to get Tribbett swinging. He does not offer. Gamboa is already digged in and ready to throw the next pitch of the at-bat. He does. This one is high. Wildcats wanted that one on the upper half of the zone, but no strike call from the home plate official, Darryl Cooper, and the count runs full at 3-2. Full count now. This one is called strike 3. 2 quick strikeouts for Tribbett, or for Gamboa. This one of Tribbett. And a swinging and now a looking strikeout. Backwards K into the books for Gamboa. His 4th strikeout of the night. Shakes his head with a little bit of confidence. He's at 98 pitches so far tonight. Jesus Riera will take the first pitch he sees right down the middle for a strike. He is 1 for 2 tonight with that RBI back in the first inning. He has struck out once. Gamboa delivers again. This one is outside for a ball. Gamboa, a guy who wears his emotions on his sleeve much of the time on the mound, and he is certainly doing so now as he continues to work with pace. This breaking ball is tagged down to left field, high and deep. Garrett Chun is under it, though, and that will retire the side. Gamboa's hot streak continues. He's through 6 innings, still in line for the win. It is 5-2 Bethune-Cookman as we head to the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball right here on the CatEye Network. Bottom of the 6th now at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Bethune-Cookman holding a 5-2 advantage over Alabama A&M as Evan Hurlburt remains on the mound for the Bulldogs. He faces Jose Gonzalez, who takes a first pitch ball on a jam-packed week in Bethune-Cookman Athletics. Feels like we've said that a lot as crossover season has finally come to an end with the conclusion of the basketball season at the College Basketball Invitational last weekend at the Ocean Center. That one is another ball. But our staff here came from the first game today of a 3-game series over at softball as the Wildcats dropped a 3-2 decision to Florida A&M in a battle for first place in the SWAC softball standings. This one is a little bit low, 3-0 now to Gonzalez. Tomorrow, we'll have both Bethune-Cookman softball and baseball in action at home at the same time for the only time this year, thankfully for our staff here at Bethune-Cookman in the athletic department. The 3-0 pitch to Gonzalez right down the middle for a strike, keeps the bat on his shoulders. I will be here at baseball. I'm not sure that I will be on the call, though, as we've got a spread out staff to try to cover both events. Hopefully Mike will be back. This one is hit high, not very deep, out into left field. Here comes Hammonds on it, but it'll be Amaral who heads back a few steps from his post at shortstop to make the play for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Manny Sufrain. So I will likely be out here doing the jack of all trades duty, running stats, potentially music, potentially PA. We'll look inside the door in the mid-major athletic department. Mike and Henson will be here. We will see if Mike feels well enough to hop on the call tomorrow. If not, I will certainly try our best, as there's another hit by pitch from Hurlburt, this time to Manny Sufrain. That is his team-leading 9th of the season, and he will trot on over to first. Still no 1-2-3 inning on the night for Alabama A&M. The Wildcats have had at least one base runner in every frame so far tonight, which will now bring up Ramses Cordova. Of course, traditionally Friday night would be the opener of a 3-game series, but with Easter on for Sunday, the Wildcats have chosen to move the series to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and as with softball, a Friday single game followed by the Saturday doubleheader to avoid playing on the holiday. This one is fouled back. It's 0-1. Bethune-Cookman track and field in action this week at the Embry-Riddle event, staying close to home here in Daytona Beach. They were in action yesterday. Today they will wrap things up tomorrow. This one's a ball. It's 1-1. And then Bethune-Cookman tennis up at Edward Waters in Jacksonville today, taking a 6-1 win over the Tigers, as their season will wrap up this weekend against Florida A&M in Tallahassee. Runner goes Sufrain, but it does not matter, as there is another hit by pitch, this time to Ramses Cordova, gets him in on the elbow guard. That's the third hit by pitch for Hurlburt. Cordova's third hit by pitch of the year. And there are now 2 on with 1 out for Bethune-Cookman. Still very much threatening in this game to add a little bit of insurance, up 5-2 here in the 6th inning. Appreciate everybody joining us for my solo trip through game 2 tonight. Mike is out sick. Hope to have him back tomorrow, as this one breaking ball is hit foul over the left field bleachers. We'll get you some scores from around the SWAC as soon as we have them. A bunch of conference series kicking off this weekend. Or today, I should say. They're all playing this weekend. Some of the teams electing to begin the series tonight. This one is fouled back. It's 0-2 now. Bethune-Cookman, one of a couple of teams to start their weekend series on Thursday to avoid playing on Sunday. The only team that will play on Easter this year is Prairie View A&M and Southern. They'll wrap their series up at 2 o'clock Eastern in Baton Rouge. Everybody else will either play a doubleheader tomorrow or the Thursday start, as this one is taken into right center field, and Diaz is there to retire Rodriguez. There are 2 away, still with 2 on. Couple of scores are in already today for the SWAC, as Peter Vasquez will head to the plate now. Alabama State defeated Mississippi Valley State in a run rule 16-6 7-inning decision. Grambling State beat Texas Southern 13-3. That one nearly hits Vasquez, but it's in there for ball one. Arkansas Pine Bluff pounded Alcorn State 29-3. And Florida A&M defeated Jackson State 8-3 in Tallahassee. A couple more games to be played tonight. A second game of a doubleheader with Alabama State and Mississippi Valley is yet to be played. That one's fouled back. It's 1-2, or excuse me, 1-1. And Prairie View and Southern will kick off their weekend series this evening at 7 o'clock Eastern. That's in Baton Rouge. And then, of course, tomorrow the Wildcats and Bulldogs will wrap up this weekend. That is a 1 o'clock start. SWAC schedule has a little bit off. This one is hit over to shortstop, but he is not able to corral it. Is Amaral as Peter Vasquez loads up the bases. Everybody moves up. Everybody is safe. Bit of an interesting play right there. Amaral grabbed it on a hop, or tried to corral it, I should say. I'm not sure he ever had full possession. Was not even able to flip over to second. As now Cordova gets in safely there. Sufrain is at third. Vasquez is at first. Colton Olison will head to the plate. There is a little bit of a conversation now between the trainer, head coach Elliott Jones for Alabama A&M, and the home plate official. I think it's possible that Hurlburt was hit by that one. I was looking at my computer screen when it happened, so I didn't exactly see it.
The batter is 2-10.
But nothing will come of it as everybody will head back to their respective posts, and Colton Olison will dig in now with the bases loaded for the third time tonight, this time with 2 outs. First pitch to Olison is high, ball 1. Head coach Elliott Jones of Alabama A&M in his 4th season with the Bulldogs. One of the types of coaches you see across the Southwestern Athletic Conference. That one's a curveball that is just a little bit outside. It's 2-0 now. 8 years of experience overall in the SWAC. He coached at Grambling State as well as Southern. This conference has a lot of retreads. Really across the league, guys tend to like to stay in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. This fastball is right down the middle, taken 1-2, or excuse me, 2-1. He played ball at Southern. 3 seasons, played first base, hit .308, earned an all-tournament selection in the SWAC, all-academic as well. That breaking ball just a little bit outside is 3-1 to Olison. Nowhere to put him. Bases are loaded. 2 away. We'll see if Olison gets the green light here or if he will sit on this one. Wind has died a little bit. It's blowing out maybe a little bit more to left field than it was when we started. This fastball right down the middle is taken out into left field. It will hang up just a bit too long for Hammonds, who slides in there to make the play and retire the side. Wildcats strand 3 runners. They've left 12 on base overall, but not too bad. They still lead 5-2 as we head now to the 7th inning. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. New pitcher for Bethune-Cookman as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Marcos Gamboa's day is done. And a pretty solid day, all things considered, especially after the start that looked a little dangerous. But Gamboa, final line for him, 6 innings pitched, 2 runs, both of them earned, 4 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, but a nice recovery in the final 3 innings of his outing when he really upped the pace and was able to collect a couple of those strikeouts and keep the Wildcats in front by a healthy 3-run lead. He gives way now to Dylan Vega, the graduate student out of Pembroke Pines, Florida. The USF transfer, who's been one of the go-to arms out of the pen early on in the season for Bethune-Cookman and head coach Jonathan Hernandez. He will first meet Alex Diaz and the top of the bullpen order, or of the Bulldog order. First pitch is a strike to Diaz. Vega on the year so far, 17 2/3 innings pitched for him, has allowed 16 runs, 14 of them earned. That's a strike, quickly up in the count, 0-2. He's only walked 6 over those 17 2/3 innings. He's struck out 7. Not a big strikeout guy. Has allowed 8 doubles, a triple, a home run. That's the first ball he's thrown tonight. It's 1-2. That one is a little bit inside. It's 2-2 now. The USF transfer made 9 relief appearances for the Bulls last year. Posted a 12.86 ERA with a couple of strikeouts in 7 innings. Was taking on a much larger role with the Wildcats this year. And this one is chopped foul. In 2022, he made 8 appearances, 4 of them starts for USF in his first season with the program. 6.86 ERA in that one. Struck out 7 batters in 19 2/3 innings pitched. And then prior to that, came from the State College of Florida in his freshman year. Appeared primarily out of the bullpen. Went 2-0 with a save. Another one fouled back. Count remains 2-2. Vega, one of many Wildcats to work very quickly. A little bit longer of a look in for him there. This one is chopped right over to first base. Manny Sufrain will gather, throw over to Vega. And a bang-bang play goes the way of the Wildcats. That's 1 out. A little bit dangerous there. Vega shakes his head as he walks back to the mound. There was a little bit of lack of communication between Vega and Sufrain as to who would actually gather that ball on the ground. Sufrain eventually does call him off very late. Vega's speed allows him to make it over to first base to tag the plate for the force out. Which will bring up Blake Martin. Martin tonight is 0 for 2. Seeing Vega for the first time, already up and throwing. This one is hit high and deep out into left field. Garrett Chun is under it, though. And maybe another benefit of the win, that ball was hit pretty hard, but does hang up for Chun a couple of feet before the warning track. 2 away.
Second baseman number 2.
Kylan Duncan, the 8-hitter now. 0 for 2 tonight, still with just the .068 batting average on the year. He will take the first pitch. He sees fastball down in the zone for a strike. It's no coincidence the Wildcats pitching staff does have success when they work with pace. That one is a little bit too low. It's 1-1. Gamboa, of course, pretty drastic difference when he switched from the slower, more deliberate pace to working quickly. Dylan Vega, a guy who works much faster with nobody on than he does when there are runners aboard. This one is fouled back. He's up in the count once again at 1-2, but Vega is pounding the zone, working very quickly, not giving the Bulldogs much of a chance to settle in. Has been rewarded with 2 outs quickly. Top of the 7th, 2 outs. That one is fouled straight back, a couple inches in front of me into the netting behind home plate. Vega's 1-2 once again. Fouled off. Count stays 1-2. Elliott Jones over there in third base coaching box makes a nice play. Tosses it over with a wink to the Bethune-Cookman dugout. Jones, we talked a little bit about last inning through. Came from Grambling State, where he was an assistant coach from 2018 to 2020 under head coach James Cooper. This ball is inside. 2-2 now. Directly responsible for the day-to-day operations of the program, player recruitment and development, specifically outfielders and catchers. So oversaw academics of the program, working with the compliance office, doing everything you'd imagine a assistant coach would do as the count runs full now against Vega. 3-2. And that ball is in there in the bottom of the zone. Thought might have had a walk, did Duncan, but he will head back to the dugout with the backwards K. Strikeout looking for the Bulldogs. Bethune-Cookman still holds a 5-2 lead as we head down to the bottom of the seventh here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. The sun begins to set, and we will move forward. You are listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. We'll be right back. It'll be the 9-hitter Daniel Figueroa who will lead things off in the bottom half of the seventh. Bethune-Cookman still holds a 5-2 lead here in Game 2 of Alabama A&M versus Bethune-Cookman. Wildcats looking for the series win if they can hold on to this one tonight. Evan Hurlbert remains on the mound for the Bulldogs. First pitch showing bunt is Figueroa, but he will pull that one back. It's a ball. Wind continues in, has not let up, maybe picked up a little bit as the temperature has dropped. Another showing bunt. He will foul tip that one into the glove. It is a 1-1. Figueroa tonight is 1 for 2. Takes that one low and in the dirt. 2-1. Hurlbert's numbers don't look particularly pretty on the game. As allowed a couple of hits, hit 3 batters, walked 1, only struck out 1, but nothing's come of it as he stranded the bases loaded for the Wildcats last time through. BCU has stranded 12 men on base. This one is hit through the hole over at shortstop, but it is gathered by Amaral, and a nice sliding play. He cannot make the throw in time, though, as Figueroa makes it into first base with an infield single. Not a whole lot of chance for Amaral there. Ball was hit really in between him and Riera at third base. Did the best effort he could to slide over and make that play, but not enough arm on it as Figueroa hustled down to first base. And Figueroa will run for second, and for the third straight time, there will be no throw. It's another stolen base for the Wildcats. That is their 8th of the night. Continuing to weaponize the bases are the Wildcats. Absolute torment so far. Alabama A&M has just declined to throw over as the 1-0 count to the leadoff man, Sergio Rivera, is bunted foul. It's 1-1. Nobody out. One man on, runner in scoring position. That is Figueroa, who reached on the infield single. Wildcats looking to add on to their 5-2 lead. Rivera hits this one high, but foul. Sun is just about set here at the Jack. Darkness begins to fall over Daytona Beach. The last little hues of orange are beginning to fade away as that breaking ball is hit high. The other way, foul. This one is off towards the Alabama A&M dugout, out of play, back onto the street. As many collegiate baseball programs do, this Wildcats team is always on the hunt to recycle as many baseballs as possible. You often see the bullpen going out to try to retrieve as many balls from the street as possible. This one is in on the hands of Rivera. He takes it inside for a ball. It's 2-2 now. So often the weekend starters, those who've already started on the week or who are set to start later in the weekend, or maybe the midweek guy, they're often sent running around looking for baseballs out there behind us at the Jack or off into the river. Runners will go. Figueroa advances to third base. There is a throw this time, but he does beat it out. He's in there safe easily. The ninth steal of the game for Bethune-Cookman. Sergio Rivera has worked the count full 3-2. It appears that Hurlburt may have received a little bit of a warning from the home plate official, maybe on a balk, or it may actually have been on the head coach of the Bulldogs, Elliott Jones. I'm not sure. He wrote something down on his little pad, did Daryl Cooper behind the plate, but tough to hear with the headphones on what exactly was a set there. I thought I made out balk, but when he pointed over to the dugout, it makes me think it might have been a bench warning. This one is well outside. Sergio Rivera will take a base via the walk. That is the sixth walk of the game for the Wildcats. They walked only 3 times last night. And Elliott Jones will make the walk out to the pitcher's mound. We may see a bullpen change for the Bulldogs. Stolen bases so far on the year, the season high for Bethune-Cookman. Funny enough, came last night where they stole 5 bags. Did that as well against South Florida. So really, there's been a big uptick of stolen bases early on in this season. We didn't really refer to it as a constant tactic in this Wildcats playbook, but in the last handful of games, you're talking about 10 steals over the last 2 games. Make it 9 tonight with still a handful of innings to go. That's 19 steals over 3 games. It has become not only a tool in the toolbox for Coach Hernandez and the Wildcats, but has become the go-to method. The Wildcats have employed all kinds of small ball to plate runs in this series. Tuesday night, running wild on the base paths, keeping teams well more than accountable. They've worked into many situations tonight where they did not even induce a throw. There will be no call to the bullpen. Hurlburt will remain on the mound as Elliott Jones walks off in conversation with the home plate official. Just one arm down there for Alabama A&M in the bullpen. Nobody warming in the Cats bullpen as Dylan Vega took over the last inning. Garrett Chun is the batter now with runners on the corners and nobody out. This is prime opportunity for the Wildcats to break out the double steal as they have so many times this year. Although if it goes at this point, I will likely see the base simply awarded at second. Chun will take a ball to start this AB. Sergio Rivera did break a little bit there from first down to second, but quickly retreated back. Again, would not be shocked at all if he attempts to steal. Would be even less shocked. There he goes, and there will be no throw. What I was about to say was I would be even less surprised if we did not see a throw down to second, trying to keep the runner from scoring. We do not. There is no throw, and that is the 10th steal of the game for Bethune-Cookman. Try to see if we can track down the last time the Wildcats have had that many steals in a game. I'm almost certain it didn't come last year. The Wildcats were not a big stealing team. Garrett Chun takes this one through the hole over at second base. That's a base hit. That's going to score a run. Daniel Figueroa will come home across the plate to make it a 6-2 game now. And Sergio Rivera will head to third. There are still runners at the corners. Nobody out. 6-2 Bethune-Cookman for Jose Gonzalez, the designated hitter. Still no movement by Elliott Jones to come back out and check on Hurlburt. He will remain out there at least for one more batter. The Wildcats' season high in stolen bases last year was just 3 against Jacksonville in a midweek contest. First pitch to Gonzalez hits him. That is the 4th hit batter of the game for Hurlburt, and that will do it as Elliott Jones will make the slow trot out to the mound to retrieve his reliever. This will be the 3rd new pitcher of the night for the Bulldogs. Even back in 2022 now, as I continue to dig through some stats here in the off time, Wildcats' season high in stolen bases was 7 in the first weekend of play. That was against the Penguins of Youngstown State. So you're talking about a night tonight where the Wildcats have stolen more bases than they have since before the COVID-19 pandemic struck. And probably further back, I'll continue to dig. But this is a wild night on the base pass for Bethune-Cookman, and it has led directly to the 6-2 lead we see on the mound, or on the scoreboard tonight. That'll give way now to Gabe Nicholson for Alabama A&M. Nicholson, the lefty out of Collierville, Tennessee. 5'10", 170 senior. This is his 2nd season with the program after transferring in from Southwest Community College. In his first season here, which was last year for the Bulldogs, appeared in 11 games, 2 of them starts, 2-0 in those appearances, 6.85 ERA. In 22 1/3 innings, allowed 19 runs, 17 of them earned on 25 hits, walked 11 to 20 strikeouts, allowed 4 doubles, 2 triples, a couple of home runs. Opponents hit .278 against him. If the statistics are correct on Alabama A&M's website, it appears this may be the first appearance of the season for Nicholson. It looks like it is. He has yet to appear. So in lieu of going with one of the many ballooned ERAs in this Alabama A&M bullpen, they will elect to trot out Nicholson, who has yet to make an appearance on the year. Unsure if it's injury related in any way or anything of the like, but the bottom line is he will be forced into his first game action of the 2024 season against Bethune-Cookman with a 6-2 deficit here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Hurlburt is responsible for the runners on base, so we will get you his final line next time. Started off strong for Hurlburt, but kind of fell victim of the hit by pitch, of the little bit of a lack of control the later his outing went. Might have been left in a little bit too long, neared the pitch total of the starter, Ryan Jones, as he finished with over 70 pitches on the night. Again, we will get you his final line when the situation on the bases is dealt with. Bases are loaded. There is nobody out. Manny Sufrain is up and would love to do some damage here to put things well out of reach for the Bulldogs. We will see what the debut of Gabe Nicholson for the 2024 season looks like. His first pitch of the year is on the outside edge, but ruled a strike. Definitely down a few degrees now here at the Jack. Looking at the low 60s. Bit chilly. That breaking ball breaks onto the middle of the plate. Soufrain leans out of the way, but it is called a strike. 64 degrees now. Wind continuing at 10 miles an hour. Flag is a little bit more limp out there in center field, but certainly still not the best for a fly ball situation as it blows straight in. That breaking ball, a bit of a looper, but is fouled back. Soufrain still trying to kind of time things up. Fouls it back, stays alive, 0-2. Long look in from Nicholson. His slow delivery. It's that breaking ball one time again, but this time it does not find the zone. Good job by Nicholson, of course, to get ahead in the counts with nowhere to put Soufrain. Wildcats have walked 6 times as a team tonight. Been hit 4 times. That's 10 bases via the free pass. Manny Soufrain hits this one over to first. Curlis will go home for the force out, and Manny Soufrain will reach via the fielder's choice. So a nice heads-up play by Tristan Curlis at first. Cuts down Figueroa at home. Excuse me, that's Rivera at home to keep things at 6-2. Bases are still loaded, though, and still just 1 away. Now it's Ramses Cordova, who is 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. But there's nowhere to put him now. That breaking ball is hit over to shortstop. It will be Amaral who will go to second for 1, over to first. In time, says the first base official Tony Young. And the Wildcats strand the bases loaded once again with nothing to show for it. They do get 1 in the inning, but that was before the bases were juiced. That's 1 run in the inning. It is 6-2 now, Bethune-Cookman, as we head to the 8th inning here at the Jack. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. To the 8th inning we go here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Bethune-Cookman still holds a 6-2 lead over Alabama A&M in Game 2 of a 3-game set here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark on Easter weekend. So Friday becomes the Game 2. We will wrap things up tomorrow at 1 o'clock. The first pitch from Dylan Vega remains on the mound. Will be fouled off by Chevalier Doris. He is 1 for 2 so far tonight. Take that one inside for a ball. That one is hit hard over to shortstop. Ramses Cordova will gather and throw over, and no, not in time. Chevalier Doris will reach first base on an infield single. Nice way to leg that one out to turn things over to Alex Diaz and the heart of the lineup. Head coach Jonathan Hernandez will take a handful of steps out in front of the dugout and signal down to his bullpen to get another arm starting to work. Vega will throw over to first to check on Doris. He dives back in. Vega had yet to allow a hit tonight. That was his first. Has struck out one. This one is hit over to third base. Vasquez will gather it. He will throw to second for one. Olison has it, throws over to first. And Manny Sufrain makes the out with the stretch. Nice recovery by the Wildcats after the bit of tough luck on the infield single. They get a pair of outs at second and first. The double play makes it 2 away for Dre Amaral. Amaral tonight is 1 for 3. He will have to operate now with the bases empty. Elliot Jones, Bulldogs head coach, will have a little bit of a conversation with the officiating crew on the out call over at first base. I think there's been a pretty fairly called game on both sides. I thought an inning ago that the Wildcat runner was able to beat out the throw that ultimately ended the inning, but they were not so lucky. And that time it comes back even for Alabama A&M as the no-out base runner is cut down to bring us quickly to 2 outs thanks to the double play. This now to Amaral. First pitch to him is a strike. Working very quickly is Vega as this one is flared out to right field. It will go just a bit foul into the Budweiser bullpen. Rivera is unable to make the play out there and right. 0-2. Amaral out of Cambridge, Canada. Not entirely sure where in Canada that is. That one drills him. A little bit of pain there is Amaral. Looks like holding on to his hand. No, it does not hit him. Excuse me. I thought based on the grimace we saw from him that maybe that's what happened, but he will keep the bat in his hand. Trainer will come out to take a look at Amaral. Guess the home plate official argued that it hit the handle of the bat, and therefore has to be ruled a foul ball. The 3 officials will come in and have a little conversation about it. Not sure if that was prompted by the Jones disagreement with the call, but regardless, they will talk about it. We don't have the benefit of replay here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark, so there's nothing that can be directly challenged or overturned. I'm not sure that's a reviewable play at any level of baseball. Certainly sounded like a foul ball from back here, but no way to really know. So we'll have a talk about it. I imagine if it is reversed, might be a little bit of conversation from Coach Hernandez. The officials do beckon Amaral over to talk. A little bit of an interesting turn of events there. They will take a look. That's a very odd way to award a base, but Amaral is gifted first. And now they will bring over Coach Hernandez to have a little bit of conversation on why perhaps the call was overturned. Definitely not often you see the officials reach out to the batter for their input. You saw Amaral removed one of his gloves and showed the second base official, that is Patrick Graham, And from there, the decision was made to award him first via the hit by pitch. So overall, just an interesting way for that play to shake out, but it is probably the correct call at a hit by pitch. This one from Tristan Curlis is hit over to second base. Colton Olson quickly scoops it up, throws over to first, and that will retire the side. So the 2-out hit by pitch after a long bit of deliverance is for nothing as the Bulldogs still trail 6-2. We will head now to the bottom of the 8th inning. Wildcats look to add a little bit of insurance here. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. George Rodriguez is the batter to lead off the bottom of the 8th inning as the Wildcats hold on to a 6-2 advantage against the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, looking to close out a series win over AAMU in the SWAC East. Gabe Nicholson remains on the mound for the Bulldogs, fires in a first pitch strike on the outer edge to Rodriguez. Nicholson, as we mentioned, making his first appearance of the 2024 season, has yet to do so on the mound and has looked fairly sharp for a guy who has yet to throw a pitch in a game this season. Quickly gets ahead of Rodriguez 0-2. This one is fouled back. Count remains 0-2. Nicholson was able to retire the Wildcats on just 6 pitches last inning after coming in with the bases loaded. Wildcats have stranded 14 runners so far on the night. That big breaking ball certainly doesn't look like much, but it is offered at and fouled into the mitt. For out number 1, George Rodriguez goes down via the swinging strikeout. Peter Vasquez will dig in now. He's 2 for 4 on the night. Every Wildcat to appear at the plate tonight, save for one, has reached base safely. Manny Sufrain, the only one, although he does have an RBI on the night via the sacrifice fly. First pitch to Vasquez is a strike. Everybody else has either walked or collected hits. Jose Gonzalez hitting streak reached 23 straight games tonight after his hit and a walk. A couple of walks, actually. No, just one. I was looking at the wrong line. So in the 25th game of the season, Gonzalez collects his 23rd straight game with reaching base. That is a strike 3 called to Peter Vasquez. Ball in the dirt thrown over to first. And that is quickly 2 away for BCU. Coasting a little bit as we hit the latter innings of a contest that, save for maybe the top of the first inning, has never really felt in doubt from the Wildcats' standpoint. 10 hits for the Wildcats on the night, 5 for Alabama A&M. 3 errors from the Bulldogs. That one is fouled back by Colton Olson for his first strike of the AB, his 5th plate appearance tonight. He'll swing through a fastball there. It is 0-2. Wildcats definitely being aggressive now with that lead, just trying to send us home. They'll only have to contend for one more half inning. We will see who comes on to close it out for Bethune-Cookman. I will get you, now that I'm thinking about it, get you Evan Hurlbert's final line after he was relieved last inning by Nicholson. 3 innings for Hurlbert, 70 innings pitched. He allowed 1 run, an earned run on 4 hits, walked 2, struck out 1, hit 4. That breaking ball is called a ball, much to the chagrin of the Alabama A&M dugout. Very loud and boisterous there. Still keeping some energy alive, even down 6-2 in the 8th. The 0-2 from Nicholson is swung on and missed by Colton Olson. Another throw over to first to complete the strikeout. And Nicholson, in his first appearance of the season for Alabama A&M, has struck out the side. Very solid relief outing for him, but the Wildcats will now look to close things out. Dylan Vega will trot back out to the mound. We'll see if he has what it takes to close this one out for a series win for Bethune-Cookman. We'll be right back. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman Baseball on the CatEye Network. Jared Tribbett will lead things off in the top of the 9th inning, looking to keep the hopes of Alabama A&M alive here in Game 2 as they trail 6-2. Dylan Vega will remain on the mound to try to close this one out. For BCU, he's over 25 pitches right now. The first pitch to Tribbett is hit over to third base. Peter Vasquez will make the play over to first, and 1 pitch, 1 away for Dylan Vega, who has only allowed 1 hit so far tonight, struck out 1. Kept digging, trying to find the last time that the Wildcats have stolen 10 bases in a game. It's been since at least 2017. Earlier than that, I should say. They stolen as much as 7 against Ohio State back in 2018, but have never reached double digits in a game. No doubt a key factor in the win tonight. We will talk with Coach Hernandez for a few minutes after this one wraps up. Appreciate everybody sticking with us as Jesus Riera takes a first pitch strike. So Vega attacking the zone. This one misses a bit inside. It's 1-1. And game 3 of the series is set for a 1 o'clock start tomorrow. There will also be Bethune-Cookman softball at that same time down at Sunnyland Ballpark. I encourage you to pick one of those two. Head down and watch two of the best teams in their respective leagues. As this one is bounced to the plate, it's 2-2 now. Laura Watton and BCU softball at 8-2 in SWAC play, trailing now only FAMU, but can easily even things up at the top with a win tomorrow. They will play 2 over there at Sunnyland Ballpark. Wildcats will play 1 here as that one is swung on and missed, and the Alabama A&M Bulldogs are down to their final 3 strikes.
Now batting for Alabama A&M.
Pinch hitter now for Alabama A&M, a guy that we saw appear last night in the start, freshman DH KJ Stanfield. He replaces Bryson Hammonds, who was 0 for 3 to this point tonight. There were a couple of defensive changes for the Wildcats to start this inning. Xavier Cintrone took over at second base for Colton Olson. Actually, I believe that was the only defensive change because Vega remained out there. Everybody else is still in their respective positions. Trying to close out the 6-2 win here at the Jack. First pitch to Stanfield is a strike. And that one drifts a bit inside. It's 1-1. Dylan Vega this year. See if he has a save. This one is fouled over the home clubhouse. Vega's primarily been that middle relief guy for Bethune-Cookman this year. That pitch is inside again. It's 2-2. Does have one save on the year, does Vega. That was at Mississippi Valley State last weekend. This one is hit hard over to Cintrone at second, throws over to first, and that'll do it. A pretty comfortable 6-2 win for the Wildcats here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. They take the game. They take the series against Alabama A&M. Marcos Gamboa will get the win tonight. Dylan Vega, of course, earns his second save of the season, second save of his Wildcats career as the Wildcats hold on 6-2 to take this one here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Final line score looks like this for Bethune-Cookman: 6 runs on 10 hits, no errors for the Wildcats. Alabama A&M 2 runs, 5 hits, 3 errors. Overall, pretty complete win for Bethune-Cookman. Pitching did its job. Bats came alive when they were needed. Wildcats did strand 14 runners on base, which will lead to plenty of room to build upon for Coach Hernandez and the Wildcats. But you take the win regardless. 3 runners stranded for Alabama A&M, so for the most part kept off the base paths tonight. And Gamboa taking that win, 6-inning pitch for him, allowed 2 runs, both earned, 4 hits, walked 2, struck out 4. And Vega's 3 strong innings earn him that save. Looking at the Bethune-Cookman batting order tonight, George Rodriguez, Peter Vasquez, and Daniel Figueroa each collected multi-hit nights for BCU, 2 for 5 for Rodriguez and Vasquez, 2 for 3 for Figueroa. Both Figueroa and Rivera both stole 3 bases in a night where the Wildcats stole 10 as a team. Again, that's the most in at least 7 years for the program. And we'll do some more research when we pack it up here, but as much as one broadcaster can do during the course of a game, the furthest back I've tracked is 2017, and the Wildcats have stolen as much as 7 to that point, but never 10, so it's the longest under a Jonathan Hernandez coach team. Even with a program a couple of years ago that was so built upon stealing bases, the Wildcats did it tonight. Even Manny Soufrain and some others were attempting stolen bases, but did not inevitably have to steal the base in its entirety because there was either a walk or hit by pitch or something of the like. So base running overall is the Wildcats' massive strength tonight. We've seen it all weekend. Double steal they went to again, and it afforded them a lot of opportunities on the base paths. They walked 6 times tonight, which was up from 3 last night. They walked only the I should say Alabama A&M walked only twice, so a nice job by the Bethune-Cookman pitching staff to keep runners off of the base paths. Alabama A&M struck out 6 times, Bethune-Cookman 7, and a nice 10-hit night, as we mentioned, for the Wildcats with those 6 runs in. Tomorrow, the Wildcats will close the series out against Alabama A&M, looking for the series sweep. That game is set for a 1 o'clock start. It will be Daniel Gaviria on the mound for Bethune-Cookman, looking to continue his strong start to the season. As we await Coach Hernandez for a quick conversation here with us over at the broadcast table. But I do appreciate everybody's company tonight as I've ridden solo. We hope Mike feels better and he can join us again tomorrow on a jam-packed day of Bethune-Cookman athletics. As I mentioned, Daniel Gaviria will be your starter tomorrow. In 35 innings pitched on this season, he's allowed only 18 runs. And he will look to give the Wildcats their second conference sweep of the year. Although their first wasn't really a true sweep, since it was a two-gamer against Mississippi Valley State due to some rough weather in the Jackson, Mississippi area back on March 17th, which caused a postponement of that series. That game will be made up in a couple of weeks when Mississippi Valley State visits again on April 19th. After this weekend, the Wildcats will continue their long homestand. This is another, I think, the only week of the season in which case the Wildcats will have a couple of midweek contests. Coach Hernandez not one to often work in the 2 midweekers in a season, so it'll be UCF and Florida State as Coach Hernandez makes his way over here towards the broadcast booth after the Wildcats' 6-2 win over Alabama State in Game 2 of the 3-game series. Coach, appreciate you joining us as always. Let's start with the base running tonight. Wildcats stole 10 bases, which is the most in a game for this program since as far back as I can find, at least 2017. It's the most under a game that you've coached. It's just so clear that the base running, even aside from the steals, the intelligence on the base pass is such a weapon for the team. It was last night, it is again tonight. Talk a little bit about that mentality for the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it started in the fall with our guys and what the mentality was going to be. We have to be a team that's going to be able to play, well at home and well on the road. And, base running is definitely a weapon of ours. It's no secret. And we just took advantage of those opportunities today. And the guys were just really good on the bases today. And that's something that we're going to have to need or we're going to have in order for us to continue to be successful and continue to put pressure on the offense. But it started in the fall with the mindset of what we're going to do. And again, Coach Cartaya made sure that the guys understood this is what we want to do. And he's done a great job with our offense so far.
Rodriguez, of course, gets a hold of the ball that puts you guys up 5-2, gives a little bit of cushion in the middle innings there. A tough night to hit a home run. Wildcats team hasn't depended on power a ton this season, but talk about the pop that there is present in this lineup that we see little glimpses of here and there and how it can be a weapon going forward.
Yeah, I mean, we've shown flashes that we can definitely hit the long ball. Especially with the wind that was blowing in today, I think that that's one of the things to our advantage. To be honest with you, as we kind of set a roster up, knowing that we have a team or an offense that can, like we said earlier, win on the road and win at home. But I think if you look at that third inning, it was really George Rodriguez that brought the momentum back to our dugout in that top half when he backpicked the runner at first base to end the threat for Alabama A&M, and then we just kind of took over from there. And if you look at that also, Marcos Gamboa, after that inning, kind of settled in and retired 11 in a row. And Dylan Vega did his job. But, I just think we did a good job. You want to see a little bit more offense late in the game, especially with the opportunities that were missed. But that's something that we're just going to have to, grow and learn and, take advantage of that.
Let's talk a little bit more about Gamboa. We saw two different Marcos Gamboas out there tonight. The first three innings, very deliberate, very slow, much slower pace than we're used to seeing for starters or pitchers of any kind on this staff. Then he comes out in the fourth inning and is noticeably quicker. He's giving himself hurry up signs on the mound and shuts him down from there. You said 11 straight retired. Talk about kind of the conversation that was maybe had with Gamboa between innings and where that approach switch came.
It was again, it's that third inning. Once George, backpicked the guy, came in the dugout, and it seemed like Marco was a little bit more fired up than usual. We want all of our pitchers to have quick tempo, especially with the new rules with the pitch clock. We never want to put ourselves in a situation where we're delaying the defense to make a play. That's the last thing you want to do, especially as a pitcher. But it was just, deliberate conversation with Gamboa about, hey man, your tempo, you got to be a little bit quicker. Just execute your pitches, man. We're gonna be okay. And sure enough, like those last three innings that he threw, it was the Marcos Gamboa that we saw in the preseason. We haven't seen that Marcos yet, and we've stuck with him and given him opportunities, and he definitely showed that he has the capability to be able to pitch for us on the weekends. And we're gonna need him just like we need everybody on our pitching staff. We want to make a deep run at this, as we get to May.
Looking for your first true SWAC series sweep tomorrow. Of course, the Valley series was rained out for the final game, so just the two there. How do you keep the guys locked in against a maybe a lowly Alabama A&M team when you're looking for that sweep?
I think you revert back to every opportunity that we've had to finish a weekend. We fell short. Whether it's defense, we're not playing well, pitching's not well, or offensive, we're not clicking. So the message or the challenge was to the guys is here's another opportunity. If this is something that we're gonna do in the long run, we have to find a way to win on Sundays, and that's something that we haven't been able to do. So far this year, but I'm confident in the group. They know what's at stake, and every conference game is huge and is important. It could be early on in the SWAC season. This game tomorrow can, put us in the top spot, the two spot, the three spot, or the four spot. So that's just a challenge, and that's just a consistent message that we as coaches have to our players. It's just every conference game matters, no matter if it's a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But definitely like our chances going into Sunday with an opportunity to finish the weekend.
Coach, thanks for your time. Congrats on the win. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Hail Wildcats.
That'll do it once again for us here on the CatEye Network. Appreciate everybody sticking with us tonight as I pinch hit. For Michael Chirillo, we hope to see him back tomorrow, recovering from a little bit of a sickness. But either way, we will bring you Bethune-Cookman Baseball. 1 o'clock start tomorrow. Wildcats take this one 6-2. They'll look for the series sweep tomorrow afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. For Bryce Winoski and the rest of our CatEye Network crew, appreciate you joining us and enjoy the rest of your night.